videos, I want to welcome you all officially to part 10 in San Juan plane spotting series. Right now we're going to start off with a Delta 737-900ER heading to Atlanta. Now expected to roll down runway 8. There it is, lining up. Yeah, it's a good day here in San Juan, so currently standing outside of the flight park. Control tower right there. And here it goes. Delta 737-900ER now lining up. Finally got a better pic of this plane. Now that's the shot I need. Those planes coming in from JFK, but everything has changed ever since. Oh shit, that scared me. Alright, over here is Delta Airlines Flight 1913 coming in from Detroit on a 737-900ER, now landing on the South Complex at runway 10. Followed by JetBlue Flight 904 heading to JFK on the A321, which is expected to come up to the North Complex for departure at runway 8. Alright, now we're gonna have JetBlue Flight 904 heading to JFK on an A321 Old Balloons livery. About to roll down runway 8, followed by Delta Airlines Flight 1780 heading to Boston on an A321neo. Also expected to roll down from the North Complex here, runway 8. Still remember 2 months ago we left on that same aircraft that's rolling down. We went to JFK. Okay, arriving on the South Complex, we have United Airlines Flight 1556 coming in from Newark. The 737 MAX 9 now on final approach. As we have Delta Airlines Flight 1780 heading to Boston on an A321neo, now rolling down from the North Complex at runway 8. Oh, god damn. Wow, that's what I call a full power takeoff. Alright, over here, next up we have Spirit Airlines Flight 1210 heading to Miami on the A320, now about to roll down from the North Complex at runway 8. Yeah, Spirit Airlines, Ryanair, it's almost the same thing. Alright, next up we have United Airlines Flight 1173 Heavy heading to Newark on a 767-400ER, now rolling down runway 8 here in the North Complex. If you watch the JFK Planespotting adventure from nearly 2 months ago, you will see like 4 of those 76400ERs from Delta. Alright folks, next up we have American Airlines Flight 1613 heading to Miami on a 737-800. Now about to roll down from the North Complex at runway 8. There it is, lining up at the runway. God damn it. Yeah, we would usually see these same aircraft coming in from Chicago O'Hare and from Philly at nighttime. Later we're gonna have an American A321neo, the non-NX type. Yeah, what we're missing here is these same American jets, but from JFK, which we haven't had in a long time here. Alright, now landing at the South Complex, we have Delta Airlines Flight 1882 coming in from Atlanta on an A321 Classic. Alright, here we have JetBlue Flight 936 heading to St. Thomas on an A320, now lining up at runway here, the North Complex. Followed by Southwest 2019 heading to Nashville on a 737 MAX 8. Also taking off here at runway 8. And here we have the competitions. 2 competing airlines, 2 competing aircraft. Okay, who can hit more power, the 320 or the 737? Let's see. Okay, the 320 looks like it's gonna go for a little bit of a powerful takeoff. I don't call it powerful. I don't call that much powerful takeoff. Okay, will the 737 hit a lot more power than that? I think so. Okay, here it goes. Southwest Max 8 taking off to Nashville. Ah, just as I knew it. Just as I knew it, ladies and gentlemen, Southwest 737 Max 8 would have a more powerful takeoff than the A320. Alright, next up, ladies and gentlemen, here at the North Complex, we have Delta Airlines Flight 1966 heading to New York John F. Kennedy on an A321neo. Followed by Iberia Flight 381 coming in from Madrid on an A330-200, expected to land at the South Complex. Okay, let's have the Delta take off before we catch Iberia landing. Okay, folks, if you've been quite tuned to the aviation news, you can expect next month to have the Iberia A321 XLRs here in San Juan. Now this could be the A321 LR taking off. Now we're going to have the A330 landing at the South Complex. The first of two A330s coming in today. Like I said, the first of two A330-200s coming in today. Landing here at runway 10 at the South Complex. Alright folks, this is something you don't get to see every day here in San Juan. We're going to have the Spirit Airbus A321neo back taxiing on runway 8/26. Back taxi on runway 8 westbound, and then they'll take a curve at the end of the runway and then they'll rotate. Okay, here goes the back taxi. God damn, this is something you don't see every day, guys. Need to have a good shot of this. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, back taxiing on runway 8 is this Spirit A321neo, which will shortly head off to Houston Intercontinental. Guys, this is something you don't see every day. Have another Spirit Neo, this one heading to Philadelphia. Pause the video for a while. Get all these shots. Alright, here we have JetBlue Flight 1235 coming in from Boston on an A321 Classic in the Prison Tail. Alright, here we have the end of the back taxi of Spirit Flight 1625 heading to Houston Intercontinental on an A321neo, followed by another Spirit A321neo, this time heading to Philadelphia. Okay, we got the two flying bananas right there. Flying banana number 1 taking the curve at the end of the runway, and flying banana number 2 heading to Philadelphia. Okay, here goes banana number 1 taking off. Alright, here we have the second flying banana of the day, which is Ryanair Spirit 1544, heading to Philly on an A321neo. Don't worry guys, this scenario was planned to call 2 Spirit jets as Ryanair jets. Now on final for 1-0 is an Amazon Prime Air 767-300 freighter, which will come in from Miami. There's a Ryanair A321neo, or should I say the Spirit A321neo. Alright, listen to those Pratt & Whitneys roaring. Alright, on final for 1-0 is Aerojet Flight 1000 coming in from Punta Cana on a MAX 8, which will be landing here shortly. We have the 2 blue guys, JetBlue A321 in the new mint colors, and the Southwest 737 MAX 8. This is what I call the 2 blue competitors. Southwest Flight 3091 heading to Orlando on a 737 MAX 8. Have a Frontier A321 coming in from Jacksonville. It's on final for 1-0. Now we're gonna have those 2 holding short as the Cape Air Brighton Norman takes off. Have the blue mint, the new mint livery, which we last saw at JFK about 2 months ago. Okay, this is a 3-in-1 shot. 4-in-1, I should say. United MAX 8 coming up as well. Excuse me. Alright, 1368 heading to Denver right there. Have an extreme up-close shot of it. This is a 3-in-1 shot we couldn't have again, that we could have once. Here we go. Now comes up JetBlue flight 1604 heading to JFK on an A321 in the new mint livery. Now lining up at runway 8 here, the North Complex. The Southwest Max 8 on final. Next up, United Airlines 1368 heading to Denver on a 737 MAX 8. Now lining up at the runway here at the North Complex. Then we'll have another JetBlue A321 departing. Next up right here is JetBlue flight 1754 heading to Fort Lauderdale on A321 in the Prism tail. You might have seen the Inter-Caribbean Embraer 120 just did a really short takeoff, aka an intersection departure. Okay, so we have JetBlue holding short. Excuse me. Here we have Frontier Airlines Flight 96 coming in from Santo Domingo on an A320 Neo. Now landing here at the South Complex at runway 10. Correction, A320 Classic. Alright, next up, here at the South Complex is Avianca 230 coming in from Medellin on an A320. Now on final approach. Alright, next up we have Spirit Wings 1839 coming in from Boston on an A321neo. Now on final approach for the South Complex at runway 10. Gosh darn it. Next up is JetBlue 2832 coming in from Punta Cana on an A320. Now landing at runway 10 at the South Complex. Alright, here we got American Airlines flight 2852 coming in from Chicago O'Hare on a MAX 8. Now landing at runway 10. Alright, over here we have Delta Airlines flight 1912 heading to Detroit on a 737-900ER. Now taxiing to runway 8 here at the North Complex. Next up we'll have JetBlue flight 2032 coming in from St. Croix on the A320 in the Vets in Blue livery, which will land at the South Complex. There is the Delta taxiing to runway 8, or currently holding short, I should say. We await Vets in Blue to land at 10. Here goes the Delta. Alright, here we have Copa 142 coming in from Panama City on a 737-800. Now landing here at 10 at the South Complex. Finally, we caught it. over here we have Eastern Air Express 6602 coming in from Punta Cana on a 737-300.